Welcome to our podcast. I am Primus, and you are listening to Behind the Scenes at Octavius Reviews. We hope that you enjoy our broadcast and think of us kindly. For a glossary of terms and nomenclature, please see the description. Also, check our site for more detailed information on the games and for links to the demos, as a convenience, of course. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back to OctaviusReviews.com, Behind the Scenes, and I am your host, Janis. I'm joined today by my best friend and co-worker, Primus. You're listening to episode 13 in the season, The Freedom Case, episode 4 of our 6-part series, The Clockwork Playbook and Internet. If you're listening, thanks.
Welcome back, Internet. Today, we are finally stepping out of Janis's orderly clockwork chapel. No pre-rendered hallways, no pre-packaged narrative seeds, and absolutely no invisible corporate straitjackets. This time, we are building the Freedom Case, looking at player-authored games, raw co-op creativity, and the breathtaking magic of emergent, unscripted stories where the player is the sole master of their destiny.
I admit to a great deal of curiosity about player-authored narratives, Primus. It is a fascinating concept, but my position remains anchored in structural stability. True freedom in a digital vacuum is a myth. For player autonomy to actually yield a compelling experience, there must be a highly complex, responsive telemetry network operating behind the curtain to monitor, tune, and protect that freedom from fracturing into unplayable chaos.
You just cannot let the machine go, can you? Look at a game like Lens Island. When you dive into that style of open co-op creativity, the joy doesn't come from following a developer's strict breadcrumb trail. It comes from setting your own goals. You and your friends drop onto an island. You look at the landscape, and you decide what to build, how to survive, and where to explore. The story isn't written in a text file by a narrative designer. It is authored in real time through player cooperation and spontaneous, emergent decisions. The game engine simply provides the raw materials and gets out of the way.
But the engine never truly gets out of the way, Primus. It is constantly performing a silent forensic audit on your behavior. Think about the massive live service sandboxes that define the modern industry. Look at League of Legends or Overwatch 2. These environments feel like arenas of pure, unscripted player freedom, where your mechanical mastery and team composition drive every single outcome. In reality, they are the most heavily audited, telemetry-driven landscapes in existence.
How do you mean?
Every single champion pick, every ban rate percentage, every point of damage dealt, and every microscopic hitbox interaction is constantly feeding data back into a global telemetry system. When a specific champion archetype begins to dominate the metadata, the developers deploy a rapid hotfix or a targeted patch. If you look at the patch note lineage of League of Legends, a single nerf immediately alters the pick rate trajectory across millions of global matches within 48 hours. The developers are using telemetry-led feature prioritization to constantly re-engineer the boundaries of your freedom so the sandbox doesn't completely rot from the inside out.
But that is exactly my point, Janis. When I'm playing a game like Destiny 2, I want to feel the raw thrill of discovering a broken, overpowered weapon synergy with my clan. I want that brief, glorious moment of unscripted power. But the second the telemetry system flags our fun, the developers swoop in with a sandbox patch or a seasonal rework to level the playing field. It feels like the corporate sanitization trap all over again. They monitor your behavior metrics like a hawk, and the moment your emergent playstyle deviates from their optimized engagement curve, they sterilize it in the name of balance.
They stabilize it, Primus, because the alternative is complete systemic death. Look at Rainbow Six Siege. They use map and utility telemetry to track operator win deltas down to the decimal point. If they allowed a genuinely broken, emergent strategy to exist indefinitely without a targeted rework, the competitive integrity of the entire ecosystem would vanish. True freedom requires a predictable baseline. Even EVE Online, which is famous for having the most unscripted, cutthroat, player-driven economy and social landscape in the history of the medium, relies on developer-led economic telemetry interventions. The developers literally run active experiments on the live universe to prevent hyperinflation from permanently crashing the player-driven market.
But look at No Man's Sky as the ultimate counter-argument. When it launched back in 2016, it was criticised because its procedural mathematics lacked a soul. But look at its ongoing recovery. The developers didn't fix that game by tightening the straitjacket. They fixed it by looking at player telemetry to see what features the community was actually choosing to engage with. They prioritised base building, deep multiplayer integration, and raw sandbox exploration, because that is where the players were authoring their own joy. It was a telemetry-driven rescue mission designed to expand player capability, not restrict it.
That is an excellent case study in iterative, telemetry-led design. But it proves that even a massive, endless sandbox requires constant structural QoL updates and feature rollouts to keep the emergent outcomes meaningful. Look at how telemetry functions in games like Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon. The handling models and difficulty parameters are constantly analyzing player telemetry feedback loops in line to tune the physics simulation. It subtly adjusts the friction metrics and tire telemetry so that your driving choices feel expressive and free, rather than punishingly impossible. The math is working overtime to make you feel liberated.
So you are saying my autonomy is essentially a customized illusion, engineered by a data analyst?
It is a carefully maintained equilibrium. Look at Dead by Daylight. As an asymmetric multiplayer game, it is a constant battle of player wits, killers versus survivors. The anti-abuse telemetry and community reporting tracking systems are constantly monitoring match outcomes and killer power metrics to push out rapid nerf and bug hotfix cycles. If the developers don't use that data to constantly calibrate the sandbox, one side ends up feeling completely powerless, and the entire human drama dissolves into toxic frustration.
I hear the technical necessity when you lay it out like that, Janis. If a sandbox has no guardrails, the trolls and the broken meta will eventually burn the whole playground down. But I still refuse to believe that the math is where the magic lives. The data can protect the playground, but it cannot write the stories that happen inside it. It cannot replicate the pure emotion of a clutch victory or an unexpected betrayal.
And it shouldn't try to. The telemetry is there to protect the integrity of the canvas, not to paint the picture for you. To summarize our positions tonight, emergent freedom can only exist when there is a hyper-responsive engineering scaffolding beneath it to keep the world fair.
And my view remains that the scaffolding is completely pointless if you don't let the players actually build something messy that matters.
A perfect tie. Next week for episode 5, we are taking off the boxing gloves and entering a structured, rapid-fire debate. We are throwing down on the ultimate design trade-offs.
Balance versus surprise, QA versus emergent fun, and corporate scale versus player authorship. 90-second rapid rounds.
I am already compiling the metrics. See you next time, Internet.